The title of the exhibition is Light Years, which is, for me, light year is the year I explore the element of light, quite literally. And light being the key element that triggered this idea of nostalgia and a certain memory within the past. So with this painting, there are something that I want everyone to be able to connect it to the image. And so some of the images are from my frame photograph, which I'm personally connected to. And I think that kind of creates this chain of connection. So like I'll connect to this image and I'll translate into painting, and in turn other people would connect to the painting. And so we all in this collective memory. So the way I chose the aspect ratio of the painting is very specific to me. And I only use two ratio, which is 2:3 and a 3:4. So for 2:3 is the same ratio as film photograph. And that already kind of link us to that nostalgic time, right, of film and the slow process of things. As for 3:4, it's the same as the old cinema. So that to create this cinematic element or the world that the audience can almost walk into the painting. The surface is very important, and I prime my work quite differently, I would say. So usually you get gesso prime canvas, but for me I use rapid skin glue, which is a very traditional medium, which create a very rough surface, almost like sandpaper. And that way the paint sink into the canvas, right? It doesn't just sit on it, it kind of sink in it, which for me is similar to the idea of memory, almost like the way it ingrained into us. And sometimes you can get like this almost patch of brush mark of the glue that ingrained onto the canvas. I think the glue work in a sense that it's allowed for the paint to react with the surface very differently than gesso. Because gesso, the paint would almost slide or glide very easily. But with the glue, the canvas absorbs the paint more. The technique is a lot of muscle, actually, a lot of physical labors. I basically use a really dry paint, almost pigment-like. And then with that dry brushing technique, scrub the paint really hard into the surface. And with the help of the glue that help absorb the paint, it creates this hazy, almost dreamlike effect, which again, how I see memories being a dream, almost like a dream state. The way I create most painting would be that I leave light to be the last area I work with. That's because with this technique of scrubbing paint into the canvas, it is, I would say, it's kind of flat, even though there's that like depth of marks, right, of the gesture, but still the surface is quite flat. So by leaving the light area last, I can add that depth or that thickness to the paint. And then that would, in contrast to the flatness of the surrounding, highlight the light area. I see painting as a dreamlike state, right? You arrive at a scene, there's no beginning, there's no ending. It's only end when you look away. So for me, painting is that almost that metaphor of dreaming, whereas the video is in a sense a reality. It's a record of time. You see the passage of time. In the video you see season changes, but as you say, it's a very personal piece, because all the clips or the video are taken by me, which compared to the paintings, images that I sometimes source out from other people. So the films are purely my memory. With the image, of course, they have to connect it to me personally from the start, or like as a starting point. That's how I picked the image. That even though it's other people images, somehow I can relate or connect to that images, or which is part of the memory. And as in the airplanes painting, I think for me they're quite personal as well, because I used to travel a lot as a child. I mean, I think place affect us artists a lot. Like you see artists moving to different places, their work change. And I think for me as well, and especially when my work has to deal a lot with memory. So it's funny because when I'm in London, I actually paint a scene that's not in London, because I'll be looking back at my previous place or the memory. So there was a lot of moving, and that, I guess, lead me to that personal connection with the plane windows, always looking out. And I have this idea that like when looking at the plane, they're always moving somewhere, it's always departing and they never arrive.